Good morning and welcome to the porch. Let me give you guys a little bit of a starter here on what we're going to be talking about today. A few weeks ago, I told you guys I was going to go into a place and do some camping where they had sighted dog men 4 times. And I did that, and I told you guys that I'd put together a video of that and bring it back to you and show it to you. And so here in a few minutes, this video is going to kind of taper off into that camp trip that we did. Now you guys hang out to the end, and let me tell you why, because I'm going to do a summary about what took place down there. And what I want you to understand is that there's some high strangeness in the world we live in. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that at the end of the video. But we have some pictures or video of the campsite and scenery and the area and things like that. And I want you to look at some of that because it was a really enjoyable trip, though there was some strange things that happened down there. And as I said, I'll cover that at the end of the video. Now, right quick, you're going to see my beard blowing here and maybe even hear a fan in the background. It's over 100 degrees down here at the shooting range today, and we just got to have that fan. It's just almost unbearable if you don't have it. So that's going to be some of the stuff that we may have to contend with today as we make this video, or at least wrap this video up. And some of you might be thinking, what's that on his chest? Well, this is a Glock 40, and I did a review on this on a video a week or so ago. It's still playing if you guys want to go see it. But this is kind of, if you're going to a place where there may be large cryptids and things like that, this is a good gun to have. Again, whether you believe in that or don't believe in that, we're going to talk about that, like I said, at the very end of the video. But further explanation, this is a heavy gun, and I didn't like carrying it on my side, so I carried it in a shoulder holster, and it was pretty good, but it wasn't quite as good as I'd like for it to be. And so we're trying something a little different. We bought this chest holster. Now, I'm not sure that I'm going to like this or not. I'm going to try it for a while, but we may do a review on that, a little later on, and tell you guys what we really think about that thing. Guys, I tell you, the fan blowing my camera around quite a bit. Hang on, and I'm going to go move that fan a little bit. Okay, guys, here we are back. We kind of got that wind off of us a little bit there, so it's going to get hot pretty fast down here. Let's go ahead and move into the video of the camp trip that we took, and then we'll go from there. Well, we made it to camp finally. Got our trooper there and got our overland camper set up. Overland camper's just kind of roughed in. We took an old pop-up camper and just converted it to a hard wall, and it's going to do pretty good. We haven't got the inside finished, and we want to do some more to the outside, but it is easier to deal with than setting up a tent. So this is camp, and the good thing is we ended up getting the campsite that I always like to camp at. Now, about 200 yards down the road here is another camp, and the other camp is where they had the dogman sighting. That actually the dogman supposedly ran a camper out of that site, but you can't see it from here, but it's just a little ways down the road there. I'm going to actually hike down there in a little bit and do a little investigating and checking out for Indian artifacts and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for now, and we'll do some more videoing as we go. Good morning. Welcome to Hall Creek Falls at the campground. We told you guys we were going to do a video up here where they had the dogman sightings, and that's where we're at. We spent the night last night here, and it came a pretty good storm. Stormed probably half the night last night anyway. And that didn't bother us because we got our little overland camp trailer that we built back here. It don't look like much, but it's works real well. Sure better than a tent. A tent wouldn't have been good last night. It'd probably ended up having to pull it up and go home. But anyway, we slept really good last night. It was a good night. And I came up here. I wanted to do a little bit of research to see if there was any Indian religious ground signs, like a altar stone is usually what you'll find where Indians had their religious sites. But anyway, what happened was we got up here, got set up, and the place where I was going to check on the altar stone, see if it was down there, was just down the road from here, and there was a guy camped down there in that area, and every 30 or 40 minutes he'd get up and shoot 4 or 5 times. And I was a little bit leery about going down there and walking around out in the woods where he was at. He didn't seem to have stable thinking. People shooting a gun in a state park, that's not very smart. But anyway, that's what he was doing. I did get to do a little bit of scouting around down here, and I didn't find any kind of sign that would tell me that there was an Indian religious area down in here or holy spot. But what I did find out just talking to my wife, she works with a guy that knows some people up here. Just right up the road here is a woman. She's got some property, and she has got, they said, a whole box full of arrowheads. So that tells us there was a lot of Indian activity down in here. Now, to get back on the dog man part of it again, just for fun, up here where this guy was camped and he was shooting, that's where the one guy got ran out of his camp by a dog man, supposedly. And then just up the road, there's a big iron bridge, and they had a sighting of one that actually chased a car up there. And then there was a woman that rides horses in this area. She said she'd seen that dog man several times when she was riding horses. And then another YouTuber, I can't think of his name right now, but he does a lot of stuff on cryptids. He came up in this area, and I don't know exactly where he was. He was in this region somewhere, and he actually got chased by a dog man. And he was pretty upset about it. So are they real? Are they not real? Well, let me say this real quick. You know, here we are talking about things that I'd have never thought we'd been talking about on the national news and in Congress, talking about aliens. Would you have thought we'd be talking about that 20 years ago? Our world's a strange place if you get right down to it. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I don't know that it's all that far-fetched to be talking about a dog man or a Sasquatch. So here we are in the area. Now, we're about to get a little rain here, so we may have to shut down filming for a few minutes. We got our coffee water on, and we're about to have coffee this morning. May have to have our coffee on the inside of the camper to kind of taper this thing out for the moment so we can get in the dry. We're up here. We had a great time. We didn't see any dog men, and so I think maybe that's a good thing. But we had a good time, and we're going to come up here camping again. We like camping up here. Okay, guys, I'm going to go on, and we'll move to another part of the video here in a few minutes. I'll give you guys some scenery and do a little more talking about this place. We're going to talk about the Iron Bridge and some places where they've seen the dog man other than just right in this area. Okay, guys, we're going to shut down for now. dogman sighting area. Big steel bridge behind us here. It's my understanding that dogman came off this bluff here, came down into the road and actually chased a car a pretty good ways back down this way. But we just wanted to get a little bit of footage of that and let you see. We're about, probably 2.5 miles from the campsite where the other dogman sighting was. So, real or not real, I don't know, guys, but we're just giving you the information we've got. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the scenery and some things like that. But let me talk a little bit about some of the strange things that happened down there that night that we stayed. One of the things that happened is that there was a guy camped down there in the area where the dogman was actually sighted at. And anyway, and I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again because it looks strange. Every 30 or 40 minutes, he'd start shooting, and he'd shoot 4 or 5 times, then quit. And he did that 3 or 4 times. That's a state park. Why would he shoot and wait every 30 or 40 minutes and then shoot again? Just a question. I don't know. You want to think, well, what was he seeing that caused him to do that? Don't know if it was anything. It might have just been he was target practice and he'd have to stop and rest 30 or 40 minutes. I don't know. And guys, forgive me. It's really hot out here, so I'm going to be wiping sweat part of the time. But anyway, that was one of the strange things about it. And then the other strange thing about it is that later that afternoon, it came a storm out there, and I'm talking about a storm. And it was wind and rain, and that lasted nearly all night long. Good thing we had a camper trailer there instead of a tent. But that was just a little bit strange to have a storm come through and last as long as what it did. So there was some strangeness to it. Now, I know people may say, well, that's just stuff that happens. Well, it may be true. I'm just telling you what happened. And then there's the question with a lot of people thinking, and they ask a fair question, is the dogman really real? Is Sasquatch real? Are aliens real? Well, those are all fair questions, and I don't know of anybody that's really got a solid answer on any of that. And I don't know whether they're real or not. Now, I've seen some pretty strange things in my life that are real, and they are in the cryptid neighborhood, okay? I'll put it that way. And I may tell more of that as time goes on, but long and short of it is the only real evidence that we see is we see tracks and sign where these things have been, where they've marked their territory and things like that. And so we do have a little bit of physical evidence, but we have a lot of human evidence, testimony. And here's where I shake out at that. Now, I know you can't trust human testimony to be anywhere near 100%, but I've heard a lot of people talk about these types of things, and I can't help but believe that a lot of these people are very, very sincere in what they say. So I'm leaning toward there's some things out there. We don't know what they are. We don't know how to explain them. We don't know how they operate. We're kind of starting to understand that a little bit. But there's some people that have trauma over these things. And I've seen some of this stuff. So if you're not careful, you can have trauma over that. There's a way of fighting that, but I won't go into that right now. But long and short of it is these things will cause trauma if you see them. And so there's some people out there hurting, and there's people out there giving them a place to talk about what they've seen and what they experienced and stuff, and just kind of try to help walk them through it and say you're not alone. And I think, honestly, I think that's a good thing. So that's pretty much all that I've got to say about it. And, if anybody has had an experience and they just want to talk to somebody about it, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. Contact me and, through YouTube or message, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. But other than that, guys, we here at the Porch love you. We want the best for you. May God bless. You guys have a good day.